Matthew's Magical Christmas Eve. Once upon a time, just days before Christmas, Santa Claus fell sick. His jolly laughter was replaced by a soft cough, and he knew that he wouldn't be able to deliver presents on Christmas Eve. As he sat in his cozy chair at the North Pole, he thought of all the children eagerly awaiting their gifts. Just then, he remembered a little boy named Matthew. With a twinkle of hope in his eyes, Santa sent a magical message to Matthew. When the message arrived, Matthew was playing with his toys at home. He read the words and felt a mix of excitement and worry.
Santa needs my help?
It was such an important job, and he didn't want to mess it up. How could he possibly deliver presents to all the children in the world in one night? Just then, Matthew heard Santa's voice in his heart.
Remember, Matthew, all the children will be so disappointed if they don't receive their presents.
Santa's words echoed in his mind. He thought back to the previous Christmas when he had helped Santa organize the presents.
You're the most reliable helper I've ever had. And you'll have my top elf, Clive, by your side.
With a deep breath, Matthew felt a surge of determination. He knew he had to be strong for all the children.
I can't,
he whispered to himself.
If I want to make this work, I have to believe.
Moments later, Matthew found himself at the North Pole, greeted by Santa and the bustling elves. Clive, a cheerful elf with a bright green hat and a twinkle in his eye, was ready to assist.
Don't worry, Matthew. We'll make sure everything runs smoothly.
As the clock struck midnight, Matthew and Clive hopped into Santa's sleigh loaded with presents. Matthew held the reins with excitement, but also a hint of nervousness. The sleigh took off into the starry sky, and with each passing moment, Matthew felt the thrill of adventure. Their first challenge came quickly. As they approached a house, they realized they had to be very quiet so as not to wake the sleeping children.
Let's use the magic dust,
Clive suggested. They sprinkled the shimmering dust over the house, and the children slept soundly as Matthew and Clive slid down the chimney. They carefully placed the presents under the tree, making sure not to mix them up.
Next house,
Matthew whispered, growing more confident. But soon they faced another challenge. A dog barking loudly at the door.
Quick, let's use the distraction trick.
Clive pulled out a squeaky toy from his bag. He tossed it far away, and the dog chased after it, allowing Matthew and Clive to deliver the gifts without a sound. House after house, they encountered small hurdles, tight chimneys, playful cats, and even a sudden snowstorm. But with teamwork and clever thinking, they overcame each obstacle, making sure every present reached its destination. As dawn began to break, they landed back at the North Pole, exhausted but exhilarated. Santa was waiting for them, a big smile spreading across his face.
You did it, Matthew,
he exclaimed as he hugged him tightly.
You saved Christmas.
Matthew felt a warm glow in his heart.
it was a little bit scary, but I knew I can do it if I didn't give up,
he replied. Santa invited them inside, where Mrs. Claus had prepared hot cocoa and delicious pies. As they sipped their cocoa, Santa looked at Matthew with gratitude.
Thank you for your bravery, my dear boy. You took on an unknown challenge and completed it despite the difficulties you faced.
Santa,
Matthew said.
the best gift isn't something wrapped in a box. It's the joy of helping others and making sure they're happy.
Santa nodded, his eyes twinkling.
You're absolutely right, Matthew. That's the true spirit of Christmas.
And so, as Christmas morning dawned, Matthew learned that bravery, teamwork, and the willingness to help others are the greatest gifts of all. No matter how daunting a task may seem, with a bit of courage and support from friends, anything can be achieved.